Fifth Avenue was one of the most significant streets in St. Cloud's history. It was originally called Main Street before city leaders changed the name back in the 1870s. Today, WJON News is kicking off a week-long look back at how Fifth Avenue has evolved over the decades. We're starting with the block from 1st Street North to St. Germain Street. Steve Pennick is the head archivist from the Stearns History Museum. He says you can't help but notice the big First National Bank building built in 1889.
It's on the National Register now, and they're doing a lot of work to it inside, so they're going to kind of restore it back to its former glory.
You know, what I found interesting doing research for this story is that it really wasn't the First National Bank building for all that long, right? I mean, it closed in 1925, so I mean, it had a short history as an actual bank building.
It did, and of course that was the precursor to the Great Depression coming up, as farmers and that kind of stuff who did a lot of business with the bank. It was kind of the beginnings of the trouble economically. So yeah, this building has kind of morphed into a lot of different forms, but has remained that historical First National Bank building throughout its career. So
yeah, talk a little bit about the area behind the bank. Of course, is a parking lot, or it's going to be a parking ramp soon, end of this year. It's been a parking lot for a long time, and I was asking you about maybe some businesses or buildings that have been in that spot over the years. Nothing really stands out, but I mean, it had various businesses over the years, right?
Correct. And one of the cool things about Fifth Avenue, especially when the autos came to be, early 20th century, so 1905, 1910, there used to be these caravans. So Fifth Avenue used to be just packed with autos, and we've got several photos depicting of when these tours would come from Minneapolis or other parts around the area, even central Minnesota. They'd have these car clubs, and people just drive around on a Sunday and make a day of it and stuff, and so it's kind of cool.
Yeah, a lot of cars that used to hang out on the street. If we go across the street and work our way over here, Steve, you can just come with me. This corner over on this side of the street has a lot of significance as well. Of course, right now it's the parking lot / River's Edge Convention Center, a shiny new building here in downtown St. Cloud. So certainly doesn't look like it did for most of the years. A lot of people on this corner, on this side of the street, probably remember that M&H Appliance used to be there. Before that, it's called Maytag. Behind that, just down the road a little piece, it was Herberts and Gerberts was there. So a lot of people probably remember those buildings being here not too long ago, right?
Well, certainly. Before that, there was a Greyhound Bus Depot was here. There used to be a cafe, so travelers coming into town would grab a bite to eat, etc. Jim's bicycle shop was probably one of the more notable on the north end of the block. He used to sharpen skates during the winter. We got some great photos. People lining up along the streets on a cold winter day, getting their skates sharpened. Of course, he sold bike for many years. So that kind of takes up this side of the block. You
found some interesting information for me. Jim's bicycle shop. He was known as the bicycle man in town. His name was Jim Hermanson. Actually, a pretty notorious guy because he would hand out free ice skates to the kids right after Christmas for many years. And you showed me some photos where kids would be, lined up down the block here, waiting to get their free ice skates. So he was definitely a man that gave a lot to the community. He was actually, I think, given several awards by the city because of his philanthropy and stuff. So he clearly was a man that was well known in this community for many years.
Correct. Yeah, he did some amazing things. And I think that's one of the great things about Fifth Avenue is there's all these little sub-stories that are in here, and just some of the characters that made up what St. Cloud was. So, yeah.
You talked a little bit about the Greyhound Bus Shop that used to be right here on the corner. You found some pictures for me of that as well. And that basically, I think, was built in 1944. And so if you think about how many people came in and out of St. Cloud, back in the day, of course, they took the Greyhound bus to get here probably. So, I mean, this is probably the corner where most of the people that came to St. Cloud, this is their first stop in town, right?
You are correct. And when we go to the next block, there used to be a series of hotels, etc. So this is where travelers came. This is where their first stop was, and of course St. Germain and Fifth Avenue with all the different businesses, this is their first orientation of what it was like to come into St. Cloud.
With construction crews and a large crane on the block right now, this is the stretch of Fifth Avenue undergoing the most visible changes right now. City Planning Director Mac Lazeman says the new parking ramp has been a long time coming for downtown.
Well, as you can see, the project is well underway. It's on schedule, so this should be open by the end of 2016, ready to provide parking for all the things that are going in to downtown right now.
Talk a little bit about the importance of this parking ramp for the overall downtown St. Cloud.
Sure. Well, parking is still essential. We are central Minnesota. We love our cars. We have increasing population base, residents coming to downtown. We have increasing employment base, more jobs coming downtown. So you have to have cars for those folks in the parking spaces. But then we're also talking about significant redevelopment potential in the downtown. So those are new buildings, new employment, new residents that only heighten the need for that parking supply.
Coming up tomorrow, we'll focus on the block between St. Germain Street and 1st Street South, including showing you where the red carpet was originally located. Jim Maurice, WJON.